Hello everyone, my name is Rob Newell. I'm the Secretary-Treasurer of Local 1500 and I'm also a trustee on the Pension, Welfare, and Legal Service Funds for the Union. My goal today is to try to address two issues that are creating some concern and some panic amongst our membership. The first thing I'd like to cover is the pension letter that was sent out last week. Additionally, I'll also make some comments about the Kullen Stop and Shop acquisition. Obviously, the Local 1500 pension fund is something that impacts everyone who is currently active or has been a participant in the past. The first thing you should know is that the letters that were sent out were created by the pension fund's attorney, the actuary, and its advisors. This letter is similar to the same letter that goes out every year to all of the participants. However, this year, for the first time, the letter stated that the fund is in the critical zone or red zone. Many of the pension fund letters that go out to our participants are unfortunately structured based on legislation and or government regulations. Obviously, much of the language used is extremely legal and difficult to understand. The Pension Protection Act, or PPA, established a new set of rules, guidelines, and a grading system for pension funds throughout our country. Prior to the passing of PPA, many of the current regulations, standards, and ways of reporting, including the use of a color grading system, didn't exist. Sometimes, when a governing body implements broad regulation change, they believe they know how to best communicate their message. In cases like this, unfortunately, it can and often does create more confusion than clarification. So let me first apologize for the way the letter is written, but also let you know that we couldn't change what it says or how the message was delivered. Our pension fund currently has an issue because the number of monthly contributions has declined significantly since the liquidation of the Pathmark A&P company. Prior to that liquidation, the pension fund was receiving thousands more contributions monthly than it does currently. Although the employer's contributions have been increased by more than 18% per member per month over the last year and a half, the fund's credit balance is still slipping. This is mainly due to the fact that there are thousands less contributions per month to the fund, but it is also in part due to negative investment results in 2017 and 2018. Our pension fund has an assumed rate of return, or ROI, on its investments of 7.25% each year. In any year that the fund does not achieve that ROI, it creates a shortfall. Equally, in any year where the fund creates more generation than 7.25%, the surplus stays in the fund and remains invested. Our pension fund runs on a calendar year for investment returns. So even in a case where the market has performed well over the first 3 quarters and performs poorly in the fourth, it can not only erase the earnings gained in the first 3 quarters, but create a negative impact for the entire planned year, as it did in 2018. The fact is that the trustees of the fund, both management and union, are now tasked with creating a rehabilitation plan. The plan needs to be in place before this Thanksgiving. In the event that the trustees cannot come to an agreement before Thanksgiving, a default plan will be implemented. In the case of a default plan, there would be additional employer contributions as well as a reduction of future accruals for active participants. Currently, our accruals are at $60 per month for a full-timer and $30 per month for a part-timer. The full Board of Trustees and its professionals are dedicated to developing a plan that protects every dollar of benefits earned up to and including December of 2019. This would include those participants currently collecting a pension, those who are no longer active but will be eligible to collect a pension in the future, and those active members who will eventually retire and collect a pension for decades to come. However, what remains in question is what will happen with the additional benefit accruals beyond 12/31/2019. The trustees have every desire to and will make every effort to ensure the pension fund remains solvent and can pay all of its benefit obligations now and well into the future. Additionally, the trustees all recognize that there needs to be a viable retirement plan in place for all of their hardworking men and women from 2020 and beyond. Hopefully, everyone watching this video understands that none of what I've said means that the fund is going bankrupt, nor will it be reducing the pension benefits of those who are already retired and collecting, nor is there a drop-dead date to get out and retire before the plan changes, nor are we in a position to push its payment responsibilities to the PBGC. Just so you know, the PBGC is a government agency charged with ensuring pension funds based on a state of guidelines that are publicly stated and available for review on their website. Unfortunately, among our group of members and participants, there are a few people that have taken to social media or walking around their own stores to spread negativity and or unsubstantiated rumors, which, I would compare it to the equivalent of screaming fire in a crowded theater. This is an unavoidable situation, and whether we like it or not, it's everyone's right to do. Personally, I think it might be more functional to ask the right questions of the right people and actually try to accept the fact that there's a significant amount of information that is currently unknown, but most of all, to try and be a little patient. Maybe that's just me. As the information becomes clearer, and when the trustees finalize the rehabilitation plan, we will not only be out in the stores to discuss it, but there will be area meetings scheduled and held throughout the jurisdiction to explain it to all of you, sit down, and answer any questions that you might have. A few members have requested that we do those meetings now. Unfortunately, there just isn't enough information, other than what's in the letter that we sent out, the frequently asked questions that we posted on our website, or what's already been discussed in this video. There's not much else to tell. As always, we are here to try to help with any questions that you might have. For the record, the majority of the union staff are also participants in the pension fund, and I'm proud to say that in July of this year, I will celebrate my 29th year in the fund. Obviously, there are thousands of participants out there who have more than 35 and 40 years in the fund, but I wanted to point out that when it comes to the pension plan, we're all in the same situation, we all have the same goals, and we all have the same needs. We want to secure the pension fund and ensure that everything we've earned and worked so hard for is there for us on the day that we decide to retire. As for the Kullen Stop and Shop acquisition deal, it's still not signed. There is no information that the union is sitting on or holding back from releasing. It's pretty simple. This is a major acquisition that is now in the hands of the two companies and the Federal Trade Commission. The FTC will evaluate the entire deal, and it has a right to object in part or to the whole deal. The government shutdown caused a pretty significant delay in the beginning of 2019, and the lengthy bargaining process and the eventual strike in New England also created a serious disruption to the process. Through our political allies, we've made our feelings known to the FTC that this acquisition should be allowed and should proceed, mainly because it's a union employer buying another union employer, but also because there would be continuity in your contracts, the pension, welfare, and legal services benefits that you enjoy, and there's a desire, obviously, to protect the 2,500 members that currently we represent at Kullen and Wild by Nature. We've said this process is currently not in our hands, and it isn't. It's between the King, Stop and Shop, and the FTC. Why anyone would assume differently is beyond me. We certainly appreciate all of the uneasiness and concern out there regarding both of the issues discussed today. And by no means do I think anyone watching this video will immediately feel better afterwards. What I think the most important takeaways might be are that there are no hidden agendas. We are doing everything we can to bring both issues to a positive resolution, and although everyone has the right to weigh in, not everyone you work with is the best source of information when it comes to situations of this nature. Many members have different levels of experience and amazing skill sets out there, but I'm sure most of those skill sets don't make them experts on pension funds, the FTC, or corporate mergers and acquisitions. Remember, bad or incorrect information tends to travel at 2 times the speed of light, but the truth sometimes seems to travel on the speed of a donkey. The expression "a little information can be dangerous" applies here, especially when there are so many people starving for any answers or trying to read between the lines. I assure you that President Spielman, the union staff, the Board of Trustees, and all of its professionals are working hard to provide you with answers and to continue to do what we've always done, provide you good service and enforce our contracts. Thank you for your time, your trust, but more importantly for your membership in our great union. Have a good day.